I'm Sean Fennessey.
I'm Amanda Dobbins.
And this is the Big Picture, a conversation show about 2021. We are drafting again. It's the movie draft 2021 edition. Chris Ryan, CR, is here. Hello.
Happy December, Sean.
Happy
Amanda,
December
Merry
to you.
Christmas.
Amanda is here with us in December when we are recording this very not pre-recorded episode of the podcast. No, we're pre-taping this episode. This is the furthest in advance we've ever pre-taped an episode. It's August 19th.
Did you verify that? Did you scroll back?
Well, I mean, when else have we 4 months in advance pre-taped an episode?
Because we didn't do that last time.
No, we didn't do it like that, no.
I don't
We
think so.
we picked a couple. I was gone for 7 months last time, and you survived.
I fucking remember.
I came back at some point, but I felt like we did
It
it.
was a long 7 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I recall we were still doing Zoom at the time,
Oh, yeah.
but there was like a chaotic 5-person draft with Mallory and Joe, I think, that was
It
done.
was pre-recorded?
Yeah.
Okay.
Several months in advance, but
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was 4. It's mid-August.
It's mid-August.
This is airing in December.
It is.
In December, is Aaron Rodgers still the starting quarterback for the New York Jets?
Or has he been supplanted?
I'll say he's back, but he missed 6 weeks in the middle of the season.
Okay.
But he's back for the stretch run.
Doing a hard hand count for RFK's.
Yes. And he withstood that loss, and he persists on, right?
Yeah.
He's back.
Everyone was on vacation for the Bear stuff. By the Bear, I mean
the
RFK and the
RFK
Bear,
stuff.
not
RFK.
the Bear, the
I
show.
was around.
Right.
I was around.
Okay.
Oh.
That was just some weird shit.
Has not been listening to JMO.
Yeah.
We had 3 separate bear
One
taxidermy
told
episodes.
from the
Yeah.
bear's perspective.
It's incredible. Some of
Some
your
of my
best
best
voice work.
work.
2021. Shall we discuss it?
Yeah. Weird year.
2021, we were amidst the COVID pandemic.
Mhm.
It wasn't the best time in our lives. It wasn't the best time in the history of movies. We were podcasting pretty regularly. But I'll start with you, Amanda.
Yeah.
Who were you in 2021? What were you doing? What were you up to?
I mean, this is a apt time to be doing this because I spent a majority of 2021 pregnant, as I have spent a majority of 2024 pregnant. I gotta say, movies not performing the best in both circumstances. So,
Do you think the two are related?
maybe everyone's saving the good stuff for when I'm back.
maybe it's kind of like Damien the Omen, but for movies, where like for this child to come,
right.
the movies
we have
must
to,
be
like, eat
sacrificed.
all of the movies. Yeah.
This the movie Sin Eater.
Every time. I just think Damien Omen. My son Damien Omen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that formulation by Bill, which is incredible stuff that he's done there, is Omen Satan's last name?
Omen is his last name. It's like Scottie Pippen. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
I don't think it is.
No, I mean, his name's
Well,
not.
and that's why, like, the movie that you guys all loved was like First Omen, and I thought he was like the first Omen
right,
of the family.
right.
Oh, wait. So you didn't think it was the Omen that the child of Satan
No, I
was
thought
being
his name was
born?
Damien Omen.
It's not Omen.
Well, I'm a Bill follower.
Yeah,
I listen.
that's true.
I stay abreast of the bits.
Let's look at the character's
How do
real
you think
name.
Paul George is doing right now for the Sixers?
I think similarly to Aaron
Okay.
Rodgers, he's missed some time, but is also impressed.
Okay.
It appears the character's last name is Thorne.
Okay.
Robert
Ambassador
and Catherine Thorne.
Anyway, we saw a lot of movies. Most of them are pretty bad, I would say.
I think I clocked 331 new movies this year,
Okay.
which is crazy. But we were still, for the most part, quarantining. The vaccine arrived in April, I want to say, or maybe I got vaccinated in April, and started going back to the movies at this time. But many of the movies that we watched at home.
Yeah.
And this is when the studios were like, yeah, I'll send you a link.
Right.
I was like, really? You'll send me a link to this action movie?
But
and they did.
I do also feel like this was the year where the lag of production
Mm-hmm.
and the limits of post-production,
Mm-hmm.
reshoots, etc., like were available. So there wasn't that much. And what you saw, at least through November,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
was of varying quality.
So there's some dispute about when's the right time to have multiple people on drafts and when's the wrong time. We did
Dispute among who?
amongst the listeners of the show.
Well, that's their problem. That's them on their time.
I'm merely bringing it up to make a point, which is that in 1996 we did that draft. We were like, wow, there's so many honorable mentions, so many leftover movies.
Multiple people on to do this. Yeah,
you couldn't say the same for 2021.
That's really true.
I mean, it would be interesting to see other people's different sort of experiences of this. I think you guys had a very specific one, which is pulling from this weird flood of stuff, both things that they had already shot that they had in the can, things that were getting finished in the most extreme of circumstances. And crucially, the collapse of the theatrical business, Best Picture nominees showing up on streaming after maybe being in 10 theaters or being out for a few days or something like that. I was wondering whether or not, when you look at the large list of the films that you see here, do you feel that the current moment in film more mirrors something closer to 2021, or have we gotten back to the pre-COVID time of how movies felt?
It's a good question. I think that this year is more powerful than, I don't know if it will qualitatively be as good actually as 2021. I think 2021 actually provided an opportunity for a few movies to come to the surface. I'll give you an example. The Worst Person in the World.
Yeah.
I think that's a movie that probably got way more attention in the United States than it ever would have if not for the COVID pandemic. And it's not to say that a movie like that wouldn't be made in 2024, but 2024 feels a little light on your like 5-star masterpieces incoming.
So far, yeah.
But the box office has done very well this year, and there's been $2 billion movies already this year. That was not even close to the case for the business in 2021.
Yeah.
There's only one movie that made more than $250 million in the US this year. And it's a big chasm between that movie and the other movies.
Yeah.
So Hollywood is in a different place.
I think if you had asked me that, or if I had asked myself that 6 weeks ago, I would have had a different answer than I do today.
Today
in August.
Okay.
Because you saw
Number
Romulus.
one, because of the box office like you're talking about, and like this weird, the long legs, and It Ends With Us and Romulus all doing really well.
Yeah. People want to go to the movies. Yeah.
But Wolf's going to streaming feels like a very 2021, like Wolf's doesn't go to streaming if COVID doesn't happen.
So that to me actually feels like that specific thing you just cited, which will now be incredibly old news by the time people hear this. But that feels like Apple TV Plus is just a few years behind its competitors.
Yeah.
And so they're still doing some stuff. They're still learning they're still experiencing the same mistakes that their forebears did. And it's a great time to talk about it because 2021 was the year of Project Popcorn, when Warner Brothers decided to do day and date with not just some of, but all of their big ticket movies. So that means that Matrix Resurrections, King Richard, Dune Part 1, Cry Macho, In the Heights, The Suicide Squad, The Many Saints of Newark.
Those Who Wish Me Dead, right?
Those Who Wish Me Dead, Godzilla versus Kong. All of those movies. They all went straight to streaming.
Yeah.
And you could see them in movie theaters, and we did see some of those movies in movie theaters. But we're going to look back on that as like a really weird historical anomaly in the movie business.
Still happening,
yeah.
Because like the Godzilla Kong movie that came out this year made like $600 million.
Yeah.
And what did it make, like $100 million this year? So it's just a fascinating thing.
Godzilla vs. Kong is one that came out even before vaccines were widely available. And so some of it was, I know it's fashionable now to be like, what were you doing? What's his first name? Jeff?
Jason Kylar.
I was going to be like Jeff Killar.
Yeah, Jim Killar.
I also had Greg for a moment. Greg, Jeff.
Little Johnny Killar.
But it was like theaters legally could not be open in many states. And that became like a whole culture, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
So like,
you were protesting outside, I remember.
Yeah.
You had a big sign that said, open these theaters now.
That's true. But like it did take a while for the infrastructure to come back.
It did.
So, it is very strange and we're still dealing with the effects of it. But it was because of a much larger,
Do you think the ArcLight will be open when this podcast goes out?
I don't. I'm still keeping my fingers crossed for 2025.
But I just mean the theatrical business has taken a long time to get back on its feet. So it's really nice that the box office has done better this year. But I do think that you can still see like the bones and shadows of what was 2019 has not been reanimated entirely.
The funny thing about it is, I was just saying to somebody on another podcast, I'm trying to not catastrophize as much as I used to, which is obviously a signature of my movie podcasting. But it's plausible that Wicked Part 1 and Moana 2 bomb,
And, you
And,
hate
and this
Gladiator
conversation we're
Part
having
Two.
about how the box office
yeah.
is fine is not fine.
Yeah,
You know,
and
you
you
never
hated
can tell.
Gladiator Part 2. And
Right.
you're just like, it all
I know.
sucks.
Yeah, Gladiator 2's
God.
bad. Like, we could be in a place where, you know, this pod conversation
Right.
seems pointless. But 2021 was a fascinating time because you're right. This was the year where people started going back to the movies, but it took a little while. I remember A Quiet Place Part 2 was the first
Same.
movie that I saw in theaters. A movie that I loved. I probably loved it because I was back in a movie theater more so.
I saw Old. I felt the same way. It's not a good film, but I saw it in a movie theater. I was like,
Listen,
Jesus Christ.
okay,
It's 7/8 of a great
Are
movie,
you
in
mad
my
at me
opinion.
because I don't like trap as much as you
I
do?
just, if you don't like the genre, if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine. You don't need to say that it's bad. You know,
I didn't say it was bad.
You did
I
say
said
Old
I
was bad.
loved
You
the
said it was
first
bad.
part of this movie.
You did use the word bad.
You
When
said
did I
Old
say
was
that?
not a good movie, and you said that you enjoyed the first half of Trap before it fell apart. So we're
Who's
here.
got Philly's back now?
This is
right
like
here.
I didn't know
this
Right
is
here.
when you were like REM's Monster is not a significant album. Okay.
When did I
Which
say that?
that during season 2 of The Bear. And you guys were like, really? Strange Currencies? And I was like, yes. The millennials love Monster. Okay.
That's
we
true.
were
We do.
9.
We do
didn't
love
know.
I
Monster.
just try to have a nuanced look at each film on its own merits, and
Mm.
I really liked the first half of.
Okay.
I love The Visit.
Mhm.
I love Signs and The Village. Weirdly,
Okay.
Not weirdly.
yeah.
What's weird about it? Those
So
are
I'm
good
just
movies.
saying,
Yeah.
I'm a Shama guy. I like
You're not-
knocking
you're
them
not-
out.
you
in
betrayed
15
him.
years.
you
yeah.
you dumped on Trap and Old.
That's
Did you,
fine.
so you listened to the Romulus pod, but you did not.
I haven't made it all the way to the end yet.
Okay.
But that's just
A couple
because
shout
of, like,
outs for you in there.
I mean, I'm getting there, but when we're recording it, and also the amount of time I'm spending in my car driving around right now is lessened.
At a lower,
Okay.
lower
Yeah.
clip.
I will say, can I just to tie this into 2021? This year, I've had a couple of experiences in 2024 of movies that I think are okay or like pretty good or not so great, but were vastly improved by seeing them on a big screen.
Mhm.
And I desperately wish I could go back in time, have my first viewing of about a dozen of these movies be in a dark theater with a bunch of people and see if they would have clicked a little bit more.
I don't think I'm going to draft this movie. I might. I don't think I am.
Is it Without Remorse?
It's not Without Remorse.
Oh my God. That
I thought
movie
about
is so
making one of
long.
the categories streaming only, but I didn't do that.
I
I'd like
wanted
to do
to
that at some
suggest
point.
comedy or musical because there are literally no comedies.
But there are.
But there's like one. But sure, so it can be interesting. Or
There's a couple.
okay.
No, this is where the work comes in.
Well,
I'll consider that.
there are a lot of
I'll
musicals.
consider that.
That way you
recommendation.
can have Dear Evan Hansen, and you don't have to decide.
I'm good. I'm good on that.
Have
No,
you seen Dear Evan Hansen?
Have not.
Do you like the stage either?
It's about a kid
Yeah.
who's writing letters to a dude in his school
Yeah.
who was his friend, but then passes away.
sort of.
Yeah, kind of.
Not quite.
And then Amy Adams is the mom.
Is she? Did she get nominated for that?
Coolest actress around 19 years running. The movie I was going to say was Matrix Resurrections, which was
Oh,
a very
yeah.
divisive movie and people really didn't like. I saw it with Van and Charles. I remember vividly. We saw it at the IMAX campus in Playa Vista, which is one of the coolest rooms in LA. And I was like, this movie fucking rocks. This is great.
Mhm.
And then it came out and everybody was like, this movie should be burned.
I saw
At
it
the
with
stake.
my mother on a television screen, and we both fell asleep.
And there you have it.
But that's the problem. That's the problem. There's a bunch of movies here from this year that I literally had to not the movie ones I saw in the theater, but like the streaming ones require diligence. Like you just have to either like pretend like you're a captive audience, or in the case of a couple of my favorite movies from this year, it was like second or third viewing that they really started to come together for me.
Interesting. So it was the third viewing of Eternals that unlocked it for you. The tragedy of
And
that
guy,
story.
when he's at Hiroshima, it's just amazing.
Yeah. Did you see Eternals?
Isn't that happens though?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Brian Tyree Henry's
I
character.
saw Eternals.
I sat next to you.
Yeah, you heard me gasping multiple
Yeah.
times at how
at
abominable
Wonder.
it was.
I saw
No,
Eternals
no,
in the theater by myself. I think to do the watch, but I can't remember.
2021 is a man. Who are you?
If 2021 was a man,
No,
what
no.
man
As
would
a
it be?
man, who were you
Yeah.
in 2021? Amanda mentioned she was pregnant. As a woman, could there
Mhm.
be? Could she be more
I was
of a
pregnant
woman?
with thought. I was thinking a lot
At all
about where we
times,
were
yeah.
going.
Yeah, the eternal gestation, one might say.
I mean, I never know how to answer these questions when they are years in which we were doing the podcast. I mean, like there's documented, proof of who I was.
None of that is true. What was the real you going through at that time?
I think I was a lonely, scared boy wondering what was going to happen in this fantasy land that I live in, No, I was fine. I was
Sleepy Joe? He came in?
Yeah.
Were you feeling good about that?
Yeah. Yes.
You were?
Yeah. I remember a sense of jubilation outside of Sweet Green when that finally went through.
Yeah, that was in 2020 though.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Question for you right now. Let's just say it's August 19th, 2:36 p.m. West Coast time.
Mm-hmm.
Is Joe Biden asleep right now?
Well, you would hope because he was going to add a nap into the schedule, right? But like, you can't be napping. He's on the East Coast.
He's got a little more free time now.
But he's on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So 5:30 is too late to be napping.
You think he's just
You have
tucked in for the night?
very strict rules about napping. Can I tell you that?
Well, I mean, it's a lifestyle.
You once
so
scolded me for napping before noon. And now
though I took a brief nap this morning before noon, so
and
I
then
apologize.
now it's too late to nap at 5:30.
Well, that's going to mess up your late night sleep cycle.
That's just
You know?
as a continental woman, like
I think somewhere between 1 and 3:30 is the right time to be sleeping.
3:30 is my sweet spot.
But you got to be up by 5:30, or else how are you going to go to bed?
I
know you're a late night person, but
I'm
still.
not actually as much anymore, and my naps are more of like a quick power cycle. Like it's just like down and up.
I mean, how many minutes?
Well, I'll listen to a podcast for
Okay.
40 minutes, but I'll probably be only like asleep for 20.
Okay.
So you fall asleep to podcasts.
Yes.
What's your favorite podcast to fall asleep to?
There are really more ones that I can't fall asleep to. Fantasy, football. I can't fall asleep to Heifetz and Craig. No offense. It's just that they keep the energy high, and it's not.
Sure.
It's a lot of British guys just being like, and then Liverpool at the left back, just facing a terrible.
That sounds calming.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's really calming.
I can't fall asleep with anything in my ears anymore. I used to fall asleep to music and or podcasts for years.
But
and years,
you
and I
still
can't.
fall asleep to a screen most nights,
I
right?
do not.
Oh, really? I'm so happy for you. That's an improvement. I was worried about your sleep habits.
I did fall asleep on Saturday night
Yeah.
to a screen for the first time in a while
mean,
because I split a bottle of wine with your husband at a
Oh, yeah, that's
restaurant.
right.
And then I went home and I turned on Desperado, the Robert Rodriguez film. And I was through the first 5 minutes, I was like, "This was such a good call. I love this movie." And then I don't remember anything that happened after that.
That's
so
great.
I
Did you
definitely
fall
just fell
asleep in
asleep.
the ADU?
Yeah, no, it was in the bed, but you know,
Right.
it's that's I'm old.
I like
That was
watching
dad's situation.
the most fucked up thing possible right up to the second I go to sleep to see what happens. I've been watching Horror in the High Desert. It's a found footage trilogy the last couple of nights. It's very convoluted, but very interesting. And it's just done some wonders for my my nighttime experiences.
I just can't get more than 6 hours of sleep at all. Period. I've got a human alarm clock right now.
Will
just
your daughter be
torturing
sleeping
me.
past 7?
7? No, I would kill for 6:15.
Okay.
Kill.
Yeah.
I was up at 5:15 this morning. So
You're sharp. as a tack.
apologies for my
And
performance.
she
today.
won't go back to sleep like in your bed or anything.
No, I don't want her in my bed. Get to stay out of my
Alice
room.
was born by 2021, right?
Yeah.
She was born in 2021.
That explains your love of Coda.
It does. It does.
Mhm.
Coda. I watched.
Did you not cry at Coda?
I didn't see Coda.
I
You
watched.
still haven't seen it? Oh man, come on. That last
Interesting.
scene, waterworks.
Given all these pregnancies you've had, you'd think that a movie like that would touch you in some way.
What pregnancy?
You said pregnant with thought.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That you meant I'd fathered
Given
children. out of
all
my
of your
life.
bastards, one would think you could look at that film with
That's
some
gonna be
heart.
so sick if some dude named Chris Snow comes up
You
to
know,
me.
Yeah, Chauncey. Yeah. Dad, I've been listening to your podcasts.
Why won't you watch Miyazaki?
I became a father in 2021.
Yeah.
Best thing ever. So
That's great.
so
Shout
happy.
out Alice, even though she won't go to sleep.
She won't go
Yeah.
to sleep. She
Yeah.
wouldn't sleep then, and she won't sleep
Yeah.
now. But aside from that, we're good. We're good. Great choice.
I'm a big fan of hers.
That was in July, so my wife was also pregnant for the majority of this year.
Yeah.
And
Takes a
that
long
was a
time.
good thing. That was a good thing because being quarantined and her being pregnant, it was like, let's watch movies. Like
Yeah.
I watched so many movies in part because she was like, that's what we're doing. Like that is our life now. So in terms of racking up those statistics,
This one's been a rude awakening in terms of what you mean. I have to drive 2 hours to come
we were just talking about that.
sit in your uncomfortable seat. I got to start bringing a Nerf football
Yeah.
to prop me up.
A Nerf football?
It's a little back trick. You
Oh,
Yeah.
Nerf
really?
football
That
goes
works?
in to
Yeah.
small your back. It helps.
I should explore that for my own.
Anyway,
Back
yeah,
issues.
we had a lot of time to watch movies in 2021.
The big movie this year was Spider-Man: No Way Home,
Mhm.
which I guess didn't make all of its money because it was end of the year, right?
Yeah.
Came out. I want to say in December,
It did.
and so it made most of its money in 2022. But it made $800 million total.
Yeah.
The
Because
next
the Spider-Mans were like this.
This is the Spider-Man meme one? I thought this was the Jake Gyllenhaal one.
No, this is
No.
this is
No, Far From Home was the Jake Gyllenhaal
Oh, Far From
one.
Home, right.
Did you like that one?
I prefer No Way Home to Far From Home.
me too.
Me too. Number 2. Are you looking at the document? Do you know what the second highest grossing
I
movie of
just
the year
looked
was?
because you didn't tell me not to look. So.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Did you see this one?
I did on the theater.
Me too. At La Cañada.
It's okay. It's not that bad.
Yeah, but then what happened in the last 45 minutes, respectfully?
It's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's pretty I there was stuff I liked about it.
Okay.
But that movie made $225 million.
How did Black Widow make 183? Didn't it go right to Disney Plus like 2 weeks later?
Yes, it did. And
It-
Scarlett Johansson would love to tell you about it.
I'm available.
Yes.
if she wants to discuss it.
That's not a movie I saw in theaters
Me either.
because it came out so
They
early.
sound screeners for that,
They
actually.
sent screeners. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what it
Yeah.
was. Maybe I watched it on a screener.
We did.
Huh. Very strange.
Do
This
you
was
remember
a weird
the plot
year.
of that film? The Russian school
Yeah,
for girls
yes.
I do.
Yeah.
and Rachel Weisz.
And was it Brian Cox who was the man who ran that school? Who was the
He
who
was
was
the guy who
villain?
ran the Born Identity School. Was David Harbour was in this as
He was
No,
the
but
Red
he's a
Guardian.
nice guy. And then there's no, it's like, isn't it like Olga?
It was Ray Winstone.
oh yeah.
Oh, sure. But then who's
Olga Kurylenko
is
is
the, like-
the villain.
the
Taskmaster.
sure.
Character I'm very familiar with.
And then Florence Pugh is just stealing the show from absolutely everyone.
Yeah.
Does she still have to be in Marvel movies?
She
She's
is
going
in
to be in the
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts movie.
Really?
Yep.
I thought everyone.
She is
dropped out
now
of
the
that.
champion of. She's coming for Gwyneth's crown of. I did not know I was in that. I can sense this.
I think she'll be pretty good at it. Though, I mean, Gwyneth, like, whenever they made that Robert Downey Jr. announcement, and she's just up on Instagram being like, wait, I don't get it. Are you bad now? I mean, there's no one better than Gwyneth Paltrow.
I don't think Florence Pugh will be able to compete with Gwyneth in that front. I think she's actually like, I'm a hero in this movie. It's cool.
That's true.
She was at Comic-Con, like proudly standing amongst the Thunderbolts. Can you name any of the Thunderbolts?
Besides Yelena.
Oh, you mean like the characters?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Is Squirrel Girl a Thunderbolt?
No.
Okay.
Sadly for you.
What's Wyatt Russell's character's name?
He is
American
He's like
hero?
Dr. America.
Yeah.
It's a really good question. U.S. agent?
Yeah.
I think U.S. agent.
That's weird.
That is
Oh,
it-
good,
that is
yeah.
his name. Yeah. You can't name any other characters. Well, Bucky. You know Bucky. Sebastian Stan.
Oh, he's back?
He's
the Winter
back.
Soldier.
Yeah.
And he didn't turn evil and or become Captain America
Turn
at any
back
point?
thanks to Wakanda. Thank you very much for restoring me.
In what installment?
Endgame.
Black Panther?
Infinity War.
I saw both of those.
Doesn't that happen in
He
Infinity War?
emerges from Wakanda in Infinity War. But he's been, I think it's in Black, isn't it part of, doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Nevertheless,
Um,
the Winter Soldier with the bionic arm
Okay.
is good again.
he's good again, and he's a Thunderbolt.
hmm So you've got U.S. Agent, played by Wyatt Russell. You've got Bucky Barnes, a.k.a. Winter Soldier, played by Sebastian Stan.
Are any of the like Haley Steinfeld people,
No.
or any of the little Marvels?
No,
That's a different team.
they're the young.
Young Avengers.
Oh, like Avengers babies? Okay.
I
And
think that's
so
a bit rude, a bit reductive. But
It'd be really funny if there were baby Avengers.
Avengers babies.
we mentioned David Harbour. He's a Red Guardian.
Oh, he's back?
He'll be back.
Oh, that's good news for their finances.
Mm-hmm.
Why,
Lily
'cause-
Allen's been selling foot pics on the internet. Like, I don't know what's going
Foot
on.
pics.
Yeah.
Do you
Did you buy any?
do you
No.
engage with her podcast content?
I don't. I sometimes listen to the recaps, and I love Lily. I'm rooting for her always. But like, I was concerned about their financial situation.
I think Stranger Things money's about to hit. He'll be good.
Yeah, that's true. They did one of those Architectural Digest tours, and it was clear they just like ran out of money by the time they got to the basement. I was like, those curtains, I made them. You know.
I do want to draw your attention to one other character in Thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm.
Character's name is Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross.
Is that Harrison Ford?
It is.
So he's a Thunderbolt?
Because he's the Red Hulk.
He's the leader of the Thunderbolts, and he's also Red Hulk.
Okay.
So we're going to redo the Harrison Ford Hall of Fame so we can get Red Hulk in there
When is this coming out?
next year.
What time?
I think in the summer.
It's after Captain America: Brave New World.
I think May.
There's a couple of big blockbuster movies that I think really drove you completely insane.
In this year.
Yeah.
Tell me about them.
Free Guy.
Hated it.
Oh, yeah.
Hated it.
Yeah.
I think we were all quite mad at No Time to Die.
I liked it. I ultimately liked it. I did. I did.
Okay.
I was happy to be there. I was nervous that it was never going to get released, and I was feeling a little quarantine fatigue.
Okay.
On that
and I
episode,
think it was like finally like the morning sickness had lifted, you know? Like I wasn't barfing.
Right.
So but I haven't watched it since.
I haven't either. I did interview Kerry Joji Fukunaga on that episode where we discussed the film. And that was before certain events transpired.
Yeah.
Certain revelations were made. And I haven't praised any of his work since, but you have praised Masters of the Air. You've said that's one of your favorite shows.
I actually specifically was real big into Bowden and Fleck's work on
I
that.
see.
Oh, right.
series.
Of course.
Yeah.
No Time to Die I thought was okay. I thought it was a bold final.
It was a bold final
Chapter?
act. Yeah.
Lashana Lynch was good.
Sure.
That's going to be...
Daniel Craig was good.
Don't know
Ana de
why
Armas
Rami
was great.
Rami Malek, I don't know why he was there.
That wasn't good.
That was tough.
I didn't like the stuff that was like the snowman, you know, that was kind of like
but
seemed like a
opening
Swedish
was really
thriller.
good.
Yeah, but it just wasn't Bond.
Well, you know.
The scene where James Bond orders a missile strike on himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be you when Aaron Rodgers tears his ACL.
Oh, and the Ana de Armas scene? That was really good.
Yeah.
That should have been the whole movie.
Come on, that's a fun movie.
Yeah. How's she doing? When's Ballerina coming out?
I believe next summer.
Okay.
Can't say I was wowed by the footage I saw at CinemaCon.
But didn't they like reshot the movie since then?
They reshot it and they retitled it John Wick Presents: Ballerina.
Oh, great.
We'll see. No John Wick movies this year.
2021?
Yeah.
No, it
3 was
disappointing.
2019.
Yeah.
Which one is F9? That's the one where they quote unquote go to space.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, they didn't go to space.
You're like the Joe Rogan of whether F9.
you could say the same for Apollo 13. You know, they went to space.
They
in Apollo
did
13.
go to space. They went to space in that one.
What do you mean?
And then
Ludacris went to space in F9.
yeah, but like in a
He was
Honda,
there. Chris
you know?
Bridges was there
Okay.
in a Honda. Yeah.
But it wasn't like a whole mission. I don't besmirch Apollo 13.
I mean,
30-year anniversary coming next year.
I'm just saying that Apollo 13 and F9 have some things in common. Gotta be okay with that. Do you want to draft?
Yeah.
So,
But I'm also happy to keep debating certain things if you want to.
Like space travel?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's legitimacy.
I think it's legitimate.
Me too.
do you have a problem with doing the 3 years later thing at the end of every year?
Why?
I'm just asking you.
Why are you
because
asking me?
You're
Do
the
I have
co-host of this podcast.
No, I think it's good. And now I do actually understand it as a tradition that we
Okay.
do every 3 years, whereas like everything else, you're like, and now in the grand tradition of the big picture, something I made up at 3 a.m. after watching Desperado, you know?
Some Bordeaux.
So I like, no, I'm with you now. The main thing is like, you don't always let me know I got to sell something before it's time to sell it.
I expect you to just read my energy.
I think
you know?
I do a decent
Pretty
job
good,
of
pretty
that.
good. Not him though. He was just like,
Yeah.
it's always so hard when we were podcasting together to share my thoughts. I was like, just fucking make something up. You're a
about
podcaster.
myself?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't think I was that interesting in 2021.
No, you were.
I wasn't playing
You're the
travel
person
baseball.
I most want to spend my time with that isn't in my family. Like that's as
That's
nice
really
a thing as
nice.
I could
Yeah.
possibly say. You've
My
got
son,
great
too.
shit going
Yeah.
on.
That's really nice of you guys to say. I don't feel as interesting as I used to.
I thought you were going to say I don't feel the same way.
I'd much rather be hanging out with
Okay.
Russillo. Yeah.
So Bobby Wagner is not here with us today, but he has recorded the draft order. I have not listened to this. I'm going to play it for us here. So we will hear in real time. Let's just let it play all the way through. Okay?
Okay, let's set the draft order. No Top Gun hat this time. I'm on the road. But longtime listeners will remember the ever-reliable wheeldecide.com. Cookies are cleared. Wheeldecide.com's algorithm favors no one. Here we go. Selecting first is Chris Ryan. And second will be Amanda Dobbins, which makes Sean third.
Okay. So now we know. Chris first, Amanda second, me third.
I think this is okay. This means that this doesn't have to be mean-spirited. Maybe it will be.
What do you mean?
Well, like maybe we don't have to. Maybe...
When has it ever been mean-spirited?
I'm so tired. Can you just play along with my bits?
Okay, go ahead.
No. I'm not. It's not my pick. It's your pick first. I mean, you can go for the jugular right now if you want to.
Well, I'll take Dude in Blockbuster.
Yeah, I think that's the right call.
I was kind of hoping to get third
Mm-hmm.
because I love to have the turn in this particular draft. Dune is kind of a chalky pick. I don't really like the blockbusters very much from this year.
Mhm.
So this is
Yeah.
the one that makes the most sense to me. I feel
This was
icky
really good.
picking a blockbuster that I saw on streaming.
Oh, I saw it at that IMAX theater in Playa Vista that Sean was describing, and it was awesome.
NFI, not fucking invited.
Yeah.
I saw it at the Stephen Ross Theater on the Warner Brothers lot.
Oh,
What's
that's
your favorite Dolphins owner?
It was
Is that's the really good one? That's
the
where we
really
saw
good
Dune
one.
2 as well. I mean,
It is.
that's one of the best theaters in LA.
I've seen both installments in that theater. It was incredible. However, this was the origin, of course, of me saying, wait a minute.
Wait,
this
yeah,
isn't
what the
the whole
fuck?
story.
Yeah.
What's happening here,
I-
sir?
Saw Romulus at the IMAX at the Brand or at the Americana
Mhm.
or whatever. Generally a positive experience, except for the 20 minutes that a man stood in front of another man showing him his ticket on his phone. And the other man was just like, I'm not getting up. And the guy just held the phone in his face. And the other guy was just like, I'm not moving. But they weren't even yelling at each other. It was just like a silent standoff between two gladiators.
Well, which guy were you? Were you the guy with the phone or the
No,
guy in the
of
seat?
course, I not only do I very far in advance buy my tickets, select my seats to be away from others in some ways.
Mhm.
I like to get on the aisle, but then these two guys just fucking, they worked it out though. Eventually they
They did.
turned their phones off.
But did one of them have a xenomorph implanted in
No,
their
but
body?
this is probably why I was like, I wonder if Rain is Ripley's daughter because I couldn't really pay attention.
How did they resolve it? Was there a third party who
They
came in
moved.
to
It
start
was
a
essentially
dialogue?
like a matter of moving down one seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so did the man sitting move down a seat?
Yes.
Okay. But like, really, how long was he holding
Like
up?
honestly, 6 minutes. Yeah. Just be like, I
I'm
respected
sorry.
it though.
It's really funny.
Yeah. That's what society's at. Hopefully, President Blank will bring about a new world.
President RFK Jr.
People are amazing.
They'll ban electronic ticketing the first day.
Okay, I start crying. Shout out to those guys.
And
That's
shout out
really
to
good.
Denis Villeneuve, who made a great blockbuster.
Yeah, this
It's
is
Such
so
a great
good.
movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's a really, really, really good movie. Okay, that's what I would have taken in Blockbuster. Again, in the spirit of kindness.
You're just covered in tears.
It's just really funny. And I just like also am imagining Chris sitting there just staring, like maybe getting the timer instead of doing
World
anything.
Star.
at
Would
all.
you-
We'll start with two guys silently showing each other their phones.
It's really funny.
Do people still do that?
should bring that back.
World Star was good and Icing Dudes was good.
Did you ever ice anyone? Did
Yeah,
you ice
remember
me?
we iced people at the Ringer for a while.
Did we?
Yeah,
I thought-
there was
no,
like an
at
icing-
Graylin.
yeah.
At Graylin.
No, it was at the Ringer, wasn't
Icing
it?
was
No,
at the
icing-
Ringer?
no.
Or maybe I brought icing back at the Ringer, but I think me and
Just like
Gallagher,
just for
I think
yourself.
Gallagher and I like tried to ice dudes. For,
What was it? Was it
Okay.
Smirnoff Ice?
Yeah.
Is that what you? So
Yeah.
did you
But
ever
what would you do? Would you make people
drink it?
But like how?
I remember when I dropped off the pallet full of Smirnoff Ice at your house, and you very slowly knocked out 800 cans over the course of 2
No,
years.
that's why I can't remember what I was doing in 2021. I got iced too much.
Did you present it like? Did you kneel down in front of the person, or did the person have to kneel down once they had been like sneak
either of you
presented
guys remember
with the
the-
icing?
the-
Were you old enough?
No, but how did it work?
Kneels. Okay,
yeah.
and so if you ice someone, you just have to figure
But how
out a
do you
way
ice
of
them?
how
You
to
just would
present
just
it to them,
pull a
like
bottle?
sneakily.
Yeah, you would
Yeah.
hide it and you'd pull it out. Also, you definitely did this at the Ringer because I was 16 in high school and Ringer was 2016, 17.
Yeah.
So that was definitely
so it
a
was
thing.
the Ringer.
Okay.
I
that
think
was
Gallagher and
icing
I-
time?
No. Icing time was like
2009? Yeah.
2010.
We
yeah,
brought it back.
You keep saying that like it was Social Security or something. Like you saved it. I voted for icing.
Now I'm just imagining you like icing people at the Americana at the
I-
movie.
But
It's
But
just
you were like,
standing
I
over-
iced all of our
The two dudes
22-year-old
who were
employees.
fighting over the ticket. I climb over the seats and iced both of
You're the great uniter.
and then a fucking xenomorph jumps out of a guy's chest.
You should. I think it would be better if you were more like the Joker, where you're just showing up places and like playing pranks, just setting people up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ah.
Okay.
Is there any part of you that is confusing this with the ice bucket challenge? Did you? And you did that.
I do
nude.
remember that.
I
I
remember
did.
when you did it. You did it stark naked, right? And you did it. Was it at the Iron Bowl? Stark naked at the 50-yard line? You did-
Why are you doing this? Okay, Amanda, did you pick anything?
No, I have a choice.
Okay.
And like I said, I was gonna do the nice thing. I mean, because I could do licorice pizza, but that is mean, and I am gonna leave it for you. And so in Blockbuster, I'll do a very un-Amanda thing because it is a weird year, and I will take Spider-Man No Way Home.
You could make the case that that's a worse thing that you did than take licorice pizza.
Okay,
Because now he's
well-
got to take it like Shang-Chi.
Right, but
I mean, you compete.
know,
Compete in the way you'd like to compete.
sorry for trying to like give you
No
something
apology
that
necessary.
you love.
Not even a disingenuous apology.
Okay.
Apology not accepted.
Yeah. The good news for you is you've just been iced.
You're extremely pregnant. Drink this.
Get on your
Smirnoff.
knee and drink this Smirnoff Ice.
I would absolutely
You would
100%
drink it.
vomit and then like
You would
pretend to
drink it.
vomit on you.
Oh my god.
But I'm at the point where I would drink it. I liked this film.
Has Tobey Maguire ever had a Smirnoff Ice?
Yes.
Oh, I really apologize to Florence Pugh because I forgot. It's not her, it's Marissa Tomei, who's like, I don't know what you're talking about. They asked her, do you have any memorable days on set and during Spider-Man? And she goes, nope.
That's too bad. She's good in those movies.
She's
and
good
also,
in those movies.
nobody's doing it like her in those
Yeah.
movies.
She looks amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did all see this movie together. This was nice. We were back in
Big
theaters.
Ringer screening. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
Was I
And
I
no,
don't
you
think you
once
were.
again you weren't invited.
No. Sorry about that. Whoops.
you guys are doing the ice fucking
It was 48 Ringer employees, but we forgot Chris. My bad.
Anyway, obviously this was a very successful movie. I feel like this is the only time that I've ever even gotten like a whiff of what it feels like to
You got emotional.
to be
like a
nerd.
Marvel fan, and
Yeah.
and you guys were like, oh, and then they brought all the people together, and I was like, oh, it actually was moving when Tobey Maguire and then Andrew Garfield showed up, and he saves whoever Zendaya is playing because he couldn't save
He saves
whoever Emma
MJ
Stone.
because he couldn't save Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, well, I can't remember
Yeah,
their
yeah.
names.
And we lose Marissa Tomei in this movie, do we not?
I can't remember.
Aunt May?
I've only seen this movie once.
Me too. But
I'd like to see it again.
Aleya is giving a thumbs up to the fact that we lose Aunt May, which okay.
Okay.
But I was like, oh, this is playing on nostalgia in a way that even I can access.
Mhm, mhm.
And it was nice to be back in the movie theaters. So, and also it made a shitload of money.
It's a very fun blockbuster.
Mhm.
I don't want to say it's the platonic ideal of a superhero movie, but it was a good moment after 2 very trying years with movies. So for it to be really truly the first big movie since
Mhm.
COVID, I think was appropriate since it gave a lot of people joy. It is definitely what I would have taken next. in Blockbuster because
Right.
of the scarcity there. So that means, in drama, I will take Licorice Pizza. Is Licorice Pizza a comedy or a drama?
I think it's a dramedy.
I think it's.
So you could take it in
yeah.
either
I think Bradley
space.
Cooper is very funny in this film.
Well, then I'll take it in comedy if it's a comedy, if you will allow it.
Let's see what Wikipedia says. The ultimate arbiter.
If
Great.
it says dramedy, we usually let you choose in either direction. We had just had a version of this that we talked about in '96, so you got mad. about it.
American romantic comedy drama.
Well, in comedy, I'll be taking Licorice Pizza.
Okay. I think that's beautiful.
This is Paul Thomas Anderson's most recent film. It's a snapshot of 1970s Southern California, seen through the prism of his experience and producer Gary Getzman, about some young hustlers who, one in particular, who encounters a gal in her 20s and they start a romantic affair. You protested this movie for months because of the age gap controversy. So you
Such a weird pod for you.
you immediately stopped protesting the opening of movie theaters. Once they opened, you began protesting Paul Thomas Anderson's work publicly.
I honestly was just thinking about how much money I paid to the Westwood parking officials.
Oh yeah, that's right.
To
This
be
is
able
playing
to,
there.
because it was screening, and a wonderful film going experience, and then a $60 parking tab. Congratulations to Westwood.
I did find street parking one of the 3 times I saw it. At the
Okay.
Did you
Westwood Theater.
cry when Let Me Roll It played in this movie?
I think Amanda and I both were like,
Yeah.
oh, like it's like,
And then I like,
you know, hair standing on our arms straight up.
and then Let Me Roll It. We played it to Knox like a lot while he was still.
Do you ever say to Knox, Barbara Streisand? Sand.
I think he would be he would respond to that
To
scene.
John Peters being his babysitter.
I honestly think Knox and Bradley Cooper would really get along.
I think Knox is a little too decent for Bradley
Oh.
Cooper.
Okay.
Wow.
One of my takes. He's very pure, Knox.
Yeah, but
Bradley, you know, he's a stormy fellow. He's got some issues. He's wonderful as Peters in this
Yeah.
movie. Alana Haim, not made a movie since then.
Is she in, I believe, the Battle of whatever the hell it's called, or not Vineland?
The Battle of the Bulge. It's a
No,
recreation.
it's like the Battle of something Heights or the Battle of something Hills.
Yeah, I saw the reported title. I'm sure we'll know what it is by the time this actually airs, but I don't know if that's the actual title
Okay.
of the movie.
Isn't she in that?
Is she?
I
That makes
thought
sense.
so.
That would make sense. Cooper Hoffman, terrific in this movie. Really liked what he's been up to. Did you guys see Wildcat? I was just talking to somebody about this. The Ethan Hawke directed movie about Flannery O'Connor.
no, my parents did,
Is Hoffman
and
in it?
they like hung out with Ethan Hawke in Atlanta afterwards. And
Oh, no shit.
yeah,
Oh,
like
that's
this
cool.
sounds great.
That's fun.
Yeah,
I wasn't crazy about it.
I don't know.
How?
Because I think he was like going, doing the
Just
road
home to
tour.
home?
Like, no, I think this is one of the times in the last 5 years my dad was like, "Sure, I'll go see a movie."
Okay.
Was it because it's Flannery O'Connor? Like, was
No.
there like a special like Georgia experience with that movie?
I don't know. I mean, they just went to a screening where he did a Q&A afterwards. I'm exaggerating
Okay.
it, but
I'm just wondering why he was there.
Atlanta is the filmmaking capital of the Southeast.
That's great. Here's the world's second smallest donut.
I wish we had donuts right now.
That would have been nice.
Or
I
Smirnoff
was
Ice.
honestly, or Smirnoff Ice. I was thinking about like if we could like have Dairy Queen delivered.
I mean, I don't think it would have the same charm.
Yeah, that's true.
It's also like in Temecula.
I know.
So
It's really tough.
Do you remember when we went to Palm Springs and then on the way home we got Sonic? And then we just like had like a psychotic meltdown. That was pretty good. It's good. I drank like some giant green
we
drink.
had like 42 like potato puffs.
Yeah, it was like more taquitos. It's an interesting day. Licorice Pizza, great movie. I brought up Wildcat because Cooper Hoffman, in the telling of A Good Man Is Hard to Find, plays the salesman in that story, and he's really good.
Isn't he in Saturday Night?
And he's inside.
And you've now seen Saturday Night
At
and
this
devoted
time.
10 episodes to it.
Yeah.
And
Pleased to announce Jason Reitman is third chair on the big picture. It's exciting times. Replacing Amanda. It's just me, CR, and Jason
And JR.
every week.
Yeah.
did you see the John Mulaney clip with the fake
I
Saturday?
did.
It's
I did.
what a special person.
You know what my take on that is?
What?
Carrying water for Big Lauren.
Okay. Oh yeah. That's fine with me.
Protecting Papa.
Yeah.
You know? Got to watch on a show produced by Papa.
Yeah.
You know, the Seth Meyers show.
Okay.
Convenient.
Okay.
You got to have some distance and some closeness to the material.
Okay.
You know?
So you put that in comedy. I'm just gonna keep track of these.
My next pick. An Oscar nominee, I'll be taking West Side Story.
Okay.
Steven Spielberg's masterful remake. I guess it's a remake.
Yeah.
Of the legendary 1960 musical, which is one of the most virtuosically made movies in his career. And another movie that...
Oh, I thought you were saying that about the original.
I mean, they both are.
Yeah.
They're both amazing, but in completely different ways. And there is some revisionist history, like, I didn't realize, but I remember at the time, you and I were both really enthusiastic
was
about
absolutely blown away by it. And it was on my top 5 of the year. And I remember just feeling overwhelmed. I mean, I love the original West Side Story and Hollywood musicals, and it gets all of it.
Yeah. First 15 minutes, too, is a masterclass in
It's great.
reinventing
Mike
the way
Face
that
is so good in
movie
this.
like that can
So
look.
good.
Yeah.
And Ariana DeBose is really good in this.
She is, and she won an Academy Award for her performance. Okay.
Okay.
So those are my 2 picks. PTA and Steven Spielberg in a
Good
COVID
job.
year.
Yeah.
You got a Spider-Man movie.
Well, it's true. I think I'm going to add to that glory. Well,
You taking Eternals
oh my
in
God.
drama?
No, I'm just trying to decide whether you're going to take really anything from me at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from your dignity.
Yeah. And like maybe you'll take a couple of mine as well. I would have liked to have West Side Story.
I think once we get off 5 of these things, it's like basically go with your heart,
preference.
personal preference. Yeah.
Yeah. But I kind of just want to go with my heart anyway, so I think it's going to be okay. It's things like some categories are thinner than others. Sorry. I guess in action horror thriller, I know. Well, I'm trying to decide what.
I was just if just go ahead.
You're taking Benedetta.
Oh my God, you remember?
It's one of our best pods.
My mom was like, "What movie?" I was home with my mom, and she was like, "What movie are you podcasting
Oh
about?"
my God.
And I said Benedetta, and she was like, "Do you want to watch it with me?" And I was like, "Absolutely not."
I honestly,
You're stumped.
well, it's awkward to be the middle person, you know,
Mhm.
strategy wise.
Yeah.
And I was not gonna draft No Time to Die, but now I'm like, should I? But I haven't thought about it since, really.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wonder if I've been less likely, and maybe I don't know if this is true for you, less likely to return to any of these movies because they were seen in such strange circumstances.
That's what I was saying is that, well, for me, it's actually weirdly like the opposite, where, you know, a lot of these movies immediately went into cable rotation
Right.
and were on streaming. So I feel like I watched them piecemeal, or I watched them 1.5 or 2.25 times. But I actually wound up having some favorites because of that style of watching things. I've not revisited No Time to Die. Yeah.
but then my other pick is a movie that is like great until the end and it's not great. So
Go with your heart.
I don't know what my heart is telling me.
Go with your head.
I don't know what my head is telling me either.
Go with your gallbladder.
I don't know where that is right now. Okay, maybe I just don't need to do that category right now
Okay.
because I have some other options.
Great.
You know what?
I'm
Do you have somewhere to be? Can I help you? You need to make it to Brentwood
No, it's
to
like
give away another organ?
you keep taking me up to the edge of maybe you're going to take it. And I'm like, yes. And then, or no. you know,
Right.
and then you pull back, and so like,
so
I'm
should
just,
I do it?
this is just is rattling me. Like I feel like I'm watching my life flash.
Well, I know,
before
but
my
I didn't
eyes.
feel like
You are.
you have like a lot of stakes and No Time to Die.
Maybe I do and maybe I don't, but it's like the suspense is
Did you
killing
try
me.
to throw us off the scent by saying it wasn't very good? When frankly, Amanda and I liked it, and you tried to
Yeah.
other us on this podcast.
Yeah, you guys are you're killing it by loving Trap and No Time to Die. You guys are just the peak of cinematic. Pauline Kael is saluting you in heaven.
no, sincere movie watchers, you know,
I am a sincere film
and
watcher,
willing
too.
to meet
And I
the
don't
movie on
lie.
its own terms.
No Time to Lie. That's the CR Bond movie. You know,
No time to lie. Okay,
it's about a film critic who just tells the truth.
but he's James
And
Bond.
he has to kill.
That would be an interesting rebrand.
Yeah.
If they just cast like
That is actually sounds like what the
I guess okay. I'm just gonna do something really weird that makes no sense. But I'm gonna go to comedy because I really only have one comedy.
Mhm.
That's not true because I remembered that Worst Person in the World could technically count as a comedy, but I mean it's not exactly uplifting. Instead, I'm gonna do Shiva Baby.
Hey,
Yeah.
that was on my list too.
I thought it might be on your list. Yeah. Which is the debut of Emma Seligman. And I think the first time I saw both Rachel Sennett and Molly Gordon. So, and it's also a very funny, if awkward movie in its own right.
I love it.
But just kind of, you remember where you were when you
Mhm.
encountered the work of all these people.
You did not see
Yeah.
Life of the Party, the 2019 movie starring Melissa McCarthy.
I didn't.
Okay. I remember seeing that 2018 movie. I remember seeing that and I was like, who's that? And it was
Molly Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, let's see. Let me click. Maybe I had seen her before, but I remember watching this movie and being like, oh, that person. And now now they're both just partying with Charlie XCX at
They-
Tenants of the Trees. And
Feel
they
like-
didn't invite me.
They made it. Those two just made it.
I mean, my birthday is 2 days apart
I
from
almost went.
Charlie's.
You
Really?
almost went?
in the sense that I went to Gelson's that night while it was happening.
I guess we'd
I
seen,
was
no,
practically there.
I mean, you were there. I think people were parking there. I guess Molly Gordon was.
You wandering into the Charlie XCX parties by yourself, holding a bag of Gelson's
No
groceries.
offense, but in some ways, I'm cooler than everybody in that
Oh,
party.
true. It's-
wow.
I am.
What? Keep going. Go ahead. I'm not stopping you.
Taste wise, the shit I rock with, it's pretty cool. You know what I mean?
So
I'm
you're
just-
better than us
I didn't
because
say-
you didn't like Trap.
I'm
But you're
just saying-
also better than Charlie XCX and Rachel Sennett because you shop at Gelson's.
Is there a cooler supermarket? Is there a more brat supermarket?
I do think it's cooler to park at the Gelson's than at the Trader Joe's if you're going to Tenants.
Can't park in that Trader Joe's.
I do
Yeah, no, of
park
course
at
not.
Gelson's to go to Trader
Yeah.
Joe's, but I respect Gelson's enough to
To-
always
and
buy
go
something
to
at Gelson's
Gelson's.
too.
Yeah.
I have actually called the Gelson security on you a couple of times, and you've done that. And I can't believe your car hasn't been towed yet.
And they're like, we would tow him, but he just iced us. And we're hammered.
You found the one way to neutralize the
Yeah.
police. You just got iced. It's tough.
Molly Gordon was in Booksmart. So I had seen her before, but you know,
Great.
whatever.
That's
I
great.
enjoy this film if you haven't seen it.
It's really good. Emma Seligman was on the show for the movie, actually. Really enjoyed it. Good pick. CR, you're up.
For Oscar nominee, I will do one of the best movies of the decade, the greatest work of art by Guillermo del Toro,
Wow.
Nightmare Alley.
Are you serious?
I
Wow.
love this film. This is an
Oh my God.
incredible movie.
It's like
Yeah. Good. Go ahead.
Really?
Fire
Go
away.
ahead.
I didn't think that
This is the mov-
that I was going to lose you to carnivals.
Oh, it's not about carnivals.
That's right.
It's about the darkness inside of the
The
American
carnival
heart.
of the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's how
What
we're all
lurks?
barkers.
What lurks in the heart of man?
What an incredible film.
I thank you, Chris. Thanks for saying so.
Oh my God,
Of course, I
dude.
agree with you.
Maybe my favorite Bradley Cooper performance.
He's very, very good in this movie.
but easily my favorite Guillermo del Toro. What movie? Aren't you kind of on the same page?
Oh
He's
no,
very
he
good.
loves
I'm a
it.
huge
yeah,
fan,
Yeah,
yeah.
And this,
I thought it
I
was
mean,
really
this is
good.
one where I watch it at home, and once again, carnies aren't really my bag.
It's not about that.
It's
only about that for like 20 minutes at the beginning and 20 minutes at the end.
Like there's like a lot of stuff.
No, he's like
It's a Guillermo del Toro movie. Okay,
He's
like
a con man.
sure. Like
yeah,
okay,
it's a con man movie.
I mean, like all the mirrors in Kate Blanchett's office or whatever looked very cool.
The production
Yeah,
design's
it's like it's
amazing in this
beautiful.
movie.
It's
Yeah.
obviously good. It's the best Bradley Cooper performance.
Well, what's better?
Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
I'd like to see
Star
if
is Born?
I'd like to see if that character had to stretch out as
Mhm.
much as Vince Vaughn did. You know?
Okay. Hangover Part 3.
No.
Okay.
American Sniper.
When he has the plastic baby.
Just let it sit there. Yeah. Burnt.
One day you should come with a plastic baby to one of these.
Did you see the Dungeons and Dragons movie?
Can I start do that? And then I'm like, oh, new mom, right? I know. It's crazy. What did you
Did
ask?
you see the Dungeons and Dragons movie with Chris Pine?
Bradley Cooper
He
in
is
that movie?
briefly in that.
There's
Yeah.
a hilarious cameo in it.
I mean, he's small
Oh.
and the chair's big.
It's a good bit. It's a really good bit.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway,
Nightmare Alley. I thought one of my favorite endings of a movie in quite some time, even since. And I often don't vibe with the more sort of creature feature
Mhm.
parts of Guillermo del Toro stuff. It's not really up to my taste in horror, like that kind of gothic style that he has. But I really love this film, and I really felt like it's very prescient, as many people have pointed out. But it was like the idea of constantly like trying to like scratch and claw your way to higher levels of success and fame, no matter what.
And you feel that you now more deeply understand that because of where you've gotten to
Well,
in
I
your
scratched
career.
and clawed myself to third chair, didn't I?
And look at all the spoils you get to enjoy. For example, Amanda's Crying Festival over here. We're on tier 1000.
So
The
I'll take.
plastic baby. It's just like they didn't get a real baby. That's so crazy. That movie made like $500 million.
It did.
So I think that this concludes
This
the
podcast.
bolded titles,
I disagree.
the hottest names in cinema, the films everyone's talking about, and now we get to the ones that I'm talking about.
Okay.
The film that I have I was supposed to make a very sincere.
I know, but I'm just imagining Clint Eastwood being like, "Fire this baby, it's crying." Just bringing up.
Is that what happened? Is that the story?
Probably.
Okay.
Clint's like, "I got 2 minutes for this scene. This
Chris
baby's gotta nail it."
reared back and was like, I'm doing Casey Kasem here. Like, we were talking about the cinema for everybody, and now we're talking about my cinema, and my pick is going to be, and then he started crying again.
Okay, cinema.
Cinema. I'm gonna take.
What'd you see, about 11
see,
movies this
now
year?
he's not ready.
Yeah.
What are
I
you
get
talking
in
about?
trouble for
You see a
crying.
lot of movies this year?
laughing?
I saw like dozens
You
of movies
seem a little
this year.
stumped.
No, because I know
Ugh.
that I'm gonna go with my heart, and you're gonna be like, "Duh."
I would never.
So in drama, I'm taking No Sudden Move. It's Steven Soderbergh's film with Don Cheadle and Benicio del Toro, and Kieran Culkin and the great Julia Fox, and others. I won't spoil
Did you
it.
say the great Julia Fox?
I did.
Okay.
She's wonderful in this film.
She's good in it.
This is a great noir caper period piece about corporate espionage and kidnapping. It's just an awesome taut thriller that I think really fell on deaf ears and eyes when it first came out on Max. It was like had like 3 days in like the blogosphere or like in anyone commenting on it.
Mhm.
I've watched this movie multiple times. I think it's incredible. Really one of the best scripted Soderberghs in his sort of recent Max straight to streamer run. And I love this movie. I know it was in no danger of being taken out from under me, but I just thought I would grab drama now.
Good pick. I think I just forgot to add this to my long list, but I
It
don't
was
know
on
if I
my.
would've
It
taken
was on
so
my
early.
list. Yeah, but this is more of just everybody gets what.
I know. And I just feel
But-
like I always pick Steven Soderbergh movies when we're doing around this era. Like I think I let them all talk.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
did. You did.
And
And maybe next year you can grab Kimmy.
I think I picked
Oh, yeah.
what was the Panama Papers one?
Oh
The
yeah, you
laundromat.
did the laundromat.
So like I'm always here.
For Steven.
Me too.
On this day in August, I posted a photograph of a Blu-ray that I was sent of Mr.
Mhm.
Brooks.
Hmm.
And the first guy who replied wrote, "Can you please let me send you my VHS copy of Steven Soderbergh's Kafka? I promise it'll be worth it."
Great picks. I still don't know what to do about action horror thriller.
You
know?
what's your problem there?
Well, I don't know which one to take.
It'd be awesome if you could hem and haw about it for another 20 minutes.
Did you see?
Do
Can
you want
I
me to
give her
tell
a
you more
hint?
about the plastic baby?
Well, the hem and haw, maybe
So did
that's
you not
better.
see very many horror movies because you were like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I don't really see that.
Sometimes you'll go see or you'll listen to
It's
us
true.
describe one.
It's true, and I have seen some recently that
There's one.
I thought were
There's
pretty
one here
boring.
about a woman that I thought you might be interested in.
Is it a Taylor Sheridan movie about a woman?
No.
Oh, which one was that?
There's one starring Rebecca Hall.
A horror movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. Did I?
It's a significant part of big picture lore because it's the film that I watched the night that my daughter was born.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Why didn't you just go to sleep?
I wanted to watch a movie. I had a screener. It was expiring.
Okay, and they definitely wouldn't have extended the screener for
I
you.
saw this film at Sundance at the time Sean was contracting the first case of COVID in the United States.
None of the rest of us got it.
Yeah, I know.
So I just don't think that it was COVID.
But how did you not get what I had? That's the other thing. Like, I had something. I'd
Yeah,
never been so sick
I
in my
know.
life.
I know.
I don't know. That was tough.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The Night House is the name of the movie you're describing. Maybe I'll
Right.
draft it later. Awesome movie.
Awesome movie.
Okay. I guess I'll just keep doing things that I care about, and maybe someone else can make the decision for me. So
You've just described drafting.
okay. Not always. Sometimes I like to. It's rare that I am indecisive in these things. Where
I
I'm like,
agree.
I don't know what to do.
That's true.
It's rare in life.
You think it's because you're on the doorstep of birth? What do you think? What's the reason for that?
No, I think that that is one of my features is that I know what I want.
I totally agree with that.
And
But I'm saying, why do you think you're indecisive now?
Because I'm choosing between not great options,
I see.
and I'm making the argument against myself. And again, this is like a strange strategic place to be because I don't think you're going to take any of my other guys, but
Maybe. You never know.
I'll be really upset if you do. So I guess I'll just take what I want. So in drama, I'll take The Souvenir Part 2, which was a foregone conclusion, but is one of my...
Why did we take so long to get there? This is just one of you love
Well,
these
because
movies.
I don't know. I'm trying to take the movies that are in contention. I don't know whether Souvenir Part 2 is like a deeply Amanda movie or just like a partially Amanda movie. I know you also love
Is it more
both
Amanda than
souvenirs.
Trap?
I prefer part one if I think about it. I don't know if I've really thought about it too much, but I think I've seen part one twice. No, part two only
Yeah.
once.
I really like the project. So, I mean, part one was like the revelation of, oh, wow, look at this like amazing thing. And it was the first Joanna Hogg movie I'd ever seen. And
Yeah.
then I since have gone back and seen all of them. But so I agree with you that there's something like truly exciting about it. But
Two is good. I'm not. It's not.
Two
I'm
is
not
great,
denigrating it.
and there is like a real, like both souvenirs. Are heavily autobiographical, and the choices that she's making and the way that she presents her younger self, and I think some of the there is both like generosity and also like a very wry what's wrong with you
Mhm,
you to all
mhm.
of them that I just find very exciting. The performances are great. I had forgotten that Harris Dickinson is in it. It's just really a who's
yeah.
who of
That's right.
of tall British guys. And yeah, I just like these movies a lot. So I also will never forget that I went to this screening and God bless Josh, the publicist, who had to announce. I was just asked, so yes, there is in fact a Souvenir Part 1,
God.
which is an incredible. That's really, really funny.
That's so amazing.
Yeah, it's
Josh
very
is great.
special.
That's very funny.
Josh is
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
Okay, so there we go.
Okay, good pick.
I haven't been second in a while. It's weird only having one.
Yeah.
pick. Yeah.
Okay, I've got comedy and I've got Oscar nominee. I'm gonna pass on Blockbuster for the time being.
Those movies aren't getting any better, so you might as well just leave them there.
Agreed. In drama, I will take Judas and the Black Messiah.
Okay, I meant to ask about this because I
Oh,
I do.
is it not?
It's for the previous
Maybe
year's
you're
Oscars,
right. Maybe you're right.
Yeah, because I can't remember, but I do think since they were Oscar eligible for our 2020 draft.
Because this is what I was wondering about. Maybe not Nomadland, but
No, this is February 1st, 2021 for Sundance, and February 12th, 20. Yeah, so it was eligible for the Oscars that transpired in 2021.
right.
Yes, Daniel Kaluuya won
Yes,
for the year of movies that we drafted
yes.
in 2020.
But it was released in 2021.
Yeah, but
so it
I
is
just can't
eligible.
remember what we did in the 2020 draft because we might have extended it slightly.
Well, I can find that out if you want
Okay.
to sit here momentarily. Judas and the Black Messiah, directed by Shaka King, starring Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield, Jesse Plemons. I think is now like extraordinarily underrated. At the time, I was like, if this were 1997, this movie would be
How
huge.
does Shaka King not have another movie going?
That was what I was just gonna say. Is
I
that
was
where
just
is his
looking at
next
this
movie?
when we were getting ready for this, and I was like, oh, surely maybe I forgot something, and I was like, this dude is serious talent. Like, what's going on?
I fully agree with you. He was a guest of the show.
That was a cool interview. I
And
remember
he was
that.
really cool. I really liked him a lot. He was really smart and really engaging. And yeah, I don't know. It didn't happen. So I don't think Judas and the Black Messiah was taken. Oh, no. Let's see. It was taken by me. But you know where it was taken? Oscar nominee.
But I don't think you can do it twice, respectfully. I'm sorry. It's a great film.
Gosh.
I'd like to see you work for it. a
Good
little
memory
harder.
by you.
Yeah, nice job.
I didn't remember specifically that you drafted, but I do remember that.
That would be the only category it would be eligible in.
Yeah, that we did a little flexibility because
Okay.
it was such a weird year.
Okay. Then I won't take Judas and the Black Messiah. In drama, I'll take The Worst Person in the World.
Okay.
Another movie I loved. I think this is my second favorite movie of the year.
They're reunited, making Joachim von Trier's new film.
Trier and Renate Rensby.
Mhm.
Most recently seen in Presumed Innocent.
Did you ever watch that? Did you ever
Oh,
Speaking
yeah.
to you.
No, I did finish it. I finished it finally this weekend. It took me forever. And obviously I knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I think TV shows take too long. This is a movie podcast.
Chris agrees with you about that show.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I do.
Well, do you think it will make your best 10 shows of the year?
I do not.
You can say that in August for sure now.
I don't think so because I can think of 6 or 7 off the top of my head. So the
I guess
chances
all
are
along.
between August and December,
Is that coming back this year?
in the fall.
It's September 18th.
I mean, again, this is a movie podcast, so I don't really do TV shows, but
Catherine Hahn, though.
is it about grief again?
Yeah, what's the famous quote? Where you did the punch up on that episode of WandaVision, where that quote came in, right? Grief is just like the soul
Why do you
revolving
just
through
watch
time.
TV, but then you listen to the watch and you're just like,
Because I like knowing what's going on with my guys,
thanks.
And, I listen to Rewatchables also, so that's how I learn about your food stuff.
Worst Person in the World nominated for Best Original Screenplay. I remember cheering when that happened. I was clapping. I was very happy. I really like the
nice.
screenplay. I like the story a lot. I like how the self-recrimination of the Anders Danielson lie character when he's at the end of his life and he's like, what did I do? But just like watched cool movies and read cool books. And is that all my life is? And then he died.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, at least I have representation on screen, and I really appreciate that.
Okay.
Wonderful movie.
So you did Worst Person in the World for drama.
I did. Got another pick. In action horror thriller, I will take Malignant.
I was waiting for this, and I was wondering if Amanda had seen it.
Do you know about Malignant?
Did you tell me about it?
I don't think so. So the thing with Malignant was it was also a day and date movie. Very similar to what we just did with Alien Romulus, where we couldn't see the movie until basically the morning of. So we watched the movie and then came into the studio, and Chris and I recorded a podcast about Malignant, which is an original horror movie from James Wan, who, of course, is arguably the signature voice of horror in the last 20 years. And written by Akil Cooper, who wrote Megan. And it's about, what would you say it's about?
A lady with a friend.
A lady with a friend. Good way to put it. And I think we both were a little mystified by it and also watched it at 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it was tough. It was a wrong time to see it.
And then I rewatched it like a couple weeks later after many people who I trust were like, you're way off base. Because we were like, this is cool. It's fine. It's okay. It feels flawed. And then rewatched it again at night and was like, oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
I was off on this for sure. This is really fun and crazy and chaotic and beautiful. And I like it a lot. Annabelle Wallis, great performance as the lead. This movie totally got buried by the straight to streaming thing.
Yeah.
It has a culty following.
I think it could have, like, if you imagine putting it out in the summer of Longlegs, the summer of Romulus, like could have really done some stuff.
I think there's a world where 10 years from now, it's like there's rep screenings and the cast is reuniting and it's a really crazy fun movie. So that's my horror pick.
Okay, so those are your two.
Yeah. Amanda, you're up.
Okay. I made a strategic mistake. And that's okay. Because, we're all imperfect and I really needed to focus on the plastic baby. I could have taken what I'm going to take an Oscar nominee, an action horror thriller. But I don't have a better Oscar nominee now because I just Googled a bunch and learned that French Dispatch was not nominated for a single Oscar.
It's tough.
That is tough. So, in Oscar nominee, I will take The Lost Daughter. Which is technically a thriller, but this is Maggie Gyllenhaal's adaptation of the Elena Ferrante novel, starring Olivia Colman, Dakota Johnson, Jessie Buckley, Paul Mescal, Sarsgaard, Doug Mara, Dominic, like everyone shows up. I really like this movie. I think I like this movie more than any Elena Ferrante novel that I've actually read, even though I do think they're great. But it's a great work of both adaptation and translation.
Yeah.
And brings like the feeling that you get reading these novels. It's just kind of like, why are you doing this? But I'm still sort of completely sucked in by you, and I want to know why you're doing this. Obviously, like a great, off the wall Olivia Colman performance, as they all are. And another thing where it was like released late in the year, and I think sort of underseen. But if you haven't checked it out, very worthwhile.
I was a big fan as well. Very good. And her next movie will be a Bride of Frankenstein movie. How do you feel about that?
Okay.
Fine. I'm not a really big Frankenstein person, but that's cool.
Because you don't want to have to think about God's role in creation?
I don't really go for the universal monster verse stuff. Like, that stuff's never really either scared me or interested me as like stories. So like all the Mummy, Frankenstein, even like bad Camp Dracula stuff. Pass.
You're saying Bela Lugosi's Dracula is camp?
Just anything where he's got like the slick hair, pointy chin. He's like, ooh, I come to suck your blood. That stuff.
It's a shame.
Robert like Nosferatu, Gary Oldman, Bram Stoker, yes. Lothario vampire.
You'll be in Nosferatu countdown at this point.
Yeah.
Something tells me I will have already seen it by the time this posts.
Right. But I just mean in creating an atmosphere for this podcast. Sorry to help you with your job.
You didn't help me at all.
Okay.
You went from being like kind of trying to have fun and be nice earlier, and now you're like being super mean to the pregnant lady.
What was mean? What did I say that was mean?
You didn't help me at all?
Yeah. I was trying to hype you up for Nosferatu. Like, you're psyched, man. You've been waiting all year for it. December 25th.
Like, I will have already seen that
Christmas
shit.
is in the air.
I'm
like, you want to get a little countdown now going on the bottom of the screen? This many days till Nosferatu?
Count Dracula.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do it.
I think you should.
A countdown clock.
You could do a little advent calendar, but for Nosferatu, and that's all your weird shit.
Yeah. What weird shit? These are the stories that people love.
Yeah.
Except for Chris, who doesn't like Bela Lugosi's Dracula. I don't. Todd Browning's Dracula. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Such a disappointment to me sometimes. I think you're up.
Did you just go?
What did you pick?
No, did you just go?
Yeah.
What did you pick?
I picked The Lost Daughter. I talked about adaptation.
I'll be completely honest with you guys. In comedy, I'm going against the grain, against the wind, and I'm taking House of Gucci.
I rewatched it last night. And honestly, if I didn't get Shiva Baby, I was going to put it in comedy.
It's very, very, very funny.
Yeah.
I think I laughed louder out loud in my seat.
This is
Like
also
a pigeon.
This is also like Gladiator 2 is out in the world now, which means no matter what, we've had another Ridley discourse, which is like, to quote Sir Ridley himself, in spirit, if not in actuality, like, go fuck yourselves. Ridley's great at making movies.
I completely agree.
He cooked through the alien Romulus.
Yeah, amazing
compressor.
stuff.
What do you think about the rumor that Paul Thomas Anderson rewrote Napoleon for Joaquin Phoenix?
I buy it 1,000,000%.
The boats line and also the lamb chop is my divine right.
Killers of the Flower Moon and Napoleon.
Why
Two
then?
movies that he is reported to have either ghost written or done a heavy polish on. 2 movies about dumb guys ensorcelled by beautiful women that lead them to making catastrophic mistakes in their life. This is the Paul Thomas Anderson signature.
But does it matter that Napoleon was not a great film?
I like it. I think it's good.
Okay.
It's not great, but it's good.
I like House of Gucci. I like Napoleon.
I do. I like them. I think we all wanted more from Napoleon, did we not?
Well, it could have been better.
When
there
are we
was a
getting
better
the
Napoleon
4-hour
movie.
thing?
I don't know.
I know. I was just asking about this. You just really
It got
fucked us
rated,
with it.
right? So we know it exists.
Okay.
Hopefully soon. Would you actually watch it in full? Because you never watched the Kingdom of Heaven one in full, right?
No, but
I mean, would you like Napoleon and Kingdom of Heaven are kind of similar.
yeah, because it's just like a lot more battle sequences.
But it's just like there's something great
But
here,
didn't
but it's
they
not
say
great.
they cut out a lot of Josephine stuff? So I like
Oh,
Vanessa
Bring It On
Kirby.
for me,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
That's right. I mean, they must have. Why would she have
Right.
done that movie to be like in 2 scenes?
I think she's very good. I think that movie's a little
Right.
misunderstood. I
They're
think
very
a lot
funny.
of people were thrown off because Joaquin is doing a very weird Joaquin thing. And if you had just who's the right actor to even make this reference about? I don't even know who's a 30-something British or French actor who would be an interesting casting as Napoleon right now. Help me out.
I know, but like,
This is kind of a good game. 'Cause
yeah.
Joaquin's
I mean,
way too old.
I think at the time, like, would Taron Egerton be in the conversation?
No.
Too young?
To
He's like a short, blustery Brit.
yeah, I guess so. But I mean, Napoleon wasn't British, so there's some conflict there.
He wasn't from California either,
Sure.
but Ridley didn't seem to care
I
about
know,
that.
yeah, that's true.
It's a good game. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, but there's got to be somebody out there who's like a little bit rumpled, but a little bit defiant.
Jeremy Allen White.
What if he was Napoleon as Wolverine?
Yeah.
Would you be into that? Anyway,
So I'll take House of Gucci. It's just the Jared Leto, Al Pacino stuff in that movie is so fucking funny. Even if Adam Driver is like, I am in a tortured young man movie.
Mhm.
And then what to do with horror? Because it's a great horror year in terms of like it being satisfying. Like
Mhm.
it was like, I think I felt like once or twice a month there was a new like weird streaming horror thing to watch with my buddy, my partner in Scares, Sean Fennessey, or my wife, who also loves
Yeah, I
horror
thought
movies.
that was going to be a Phoebe intro.
So why don't
That's
I'll
sad.
just take one that I happen to love. I'm gonna grab Paranormal Activity Next of Kin,
yeah, underrated.
which is about a woman who's going to look for her biological family in Amish country.
Yeah, this movie honestly rocked.
It's William Eubank
I fired it up on Paramount
from
Plus
the
the day it came
director
out.
of Land of Bad.
Yeah, and Underwater.
Yeah. Honestly, truly one of my favorite directors of this decade.
He has not lost yet.
She's in Amish country, and then she finds all these letters from her mom being like, "Don't come here."
Mhm.
And then the Amish people are in a cult, and there's a demon.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But it's really well done.
If you had to guess, how many Paranormal Activity movies have there been?
7.
There have been exactly 7. This was the 7th and the
Wow.
last one to come along.
Wow. No. Since haven't they done a reboot? So wouldn't there be 8?
I don't think so.
Oh, maybe that was Insidious. I'm thinking of. In any case, Paranormal Activity, Next of Kin for my horror. So that's
When is our Land of Bad pod?
the day she gives birth.
Yeah.
The
Live
day she-
stream?
Yeah.
We explain Land of Bad to Amanda and her new child.
So he's a drone pilot.
Okay, Amanda, you've got to pick.
All right. I finally resolved my inner conflict in action horror thriller. I'm just going to take No Time to Die, which as I was rereading all the people who were in it, I was like, oh yeah, I liked this. And I liked this. Again, the whole Rami Malek plot, I don't know what that was about, but
That's
I did like the
that's
opening.
That's like 50% of the movie, right? It's like the first 10 minutes. A large part of the end.
What does happen? Oh yeah,
they're in like a North Korean missile bunker.
Right. And he's like, I need to find it. And Leia City was like,
There's a lot of stuff with poison flowers, right?
Oh yeah. But the beginning is good. Leia City looks great throughout. She's wonderful. I like Christoph Waltz. I like Daniel Craig.
Did you just pronounced Christoph Waltz like Jared Leto in House of Gucci?
That when I was watching it, it's amazing how Jeremy Irons literally is just being Jeremy Irons, and then he'll just add like a like on every fifth line, like the most. But he looks so beautiful in all the scarves, so it doesn't really matter.
I'm Jeremy Irons, and I brought with me my passport.
Remember when Jeremy Irons was in The Beekeeper?
Yes.
You think you'll draft The Beekeeper in 3 years?
I think it'll be the last pod we ever do because Sean and I will beat the shit out of each other for the right to draft The Beekeeper.
Where is it in my top 20 of the year so far? Is it in my top 20? I think it is. I added it because I felt like I keep a running best of that I keep private on Letterboxd.
Okay.
You guys can't see it, but I added it like 2 months ago. Because I remembered how much fun I had seeing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner and we saw it together.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was hooting and hollering. I was like, this is just so fun. And then I think I might have told the story in the pod. Went home, fired up Letterboxd to log it, and Bob had already logged it and gave it 1 star.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, you
That's
goddamn
tough.
son of a... How could you do this? I gave it 3 stars.
Maybe I don't think Bobby appreciated the way it lionized the defense community.
Yeah, I mean, if they finally told us about the Beekeeper Society, we needed to know.
Are they doing a sequel?
And
is Minnie Driver still alive in that universe to be a part of it?
She is. I mean, she's still there.
Yeah.
I didn't see her whole Table Manners episode, so I don't know if she's aware that she was in The Beekeeper. It felt like a real pick up the phone and say this side, and then you're done.
Who did she throw under the bus for his surfing etiquette?
Diplo.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
David, Aaron, Jason Statham are at work on another film right now.
Okay.
The name of that film is Levon's Trade.
Okay, what is his trade?
Well, you'll have to find out because this film was co-written by Sylvester Stallone.
Wow.
Do you think you'll name your child Levon?
Yes, that's it.
And he shall be Levon.
Yeah, you predicted
Next of
it.
kin.
Congratulations.
That's
Levon
my favorite Elton
He's
John
here.
song.
Okay. It's Sean's turn.
Yeah.
I've got 2 picks. Well, I've got to take a blockbuster. And so, of course, I'm taking Venom, Let There Be Carnage, which I just thought was delightful. And it was directed by Andy Serkis, chaotically at best. Really enjoyed everything he had to say on the podcast. He came on and he was just like the most energetic and charming person. Unrelated but related, I was looking at the For You on X.com today, and I was served a video of Andy Serkis on Stephen Colbert reading Donald Trump tweets in the Gollum voice. And it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And he got up and he was standing on the chair, so he was like Gollum sized. You're not.
I'm actually thinking about what was on my For You, and it was Hawk to a Girl at the Mets because I watched that Sal Licata clip, and then Hawk to a Girl threw out the first pitch at a Mets game, and they lost, and then she did a press conference after.
Oh, I saw the press conference, and people were mad about the press conference. Let's see what's on my For You right now.
Like all of these chaotic 48-year-old talk radio hosts in New York were like so scandalized by this, but then it also was revealed that she did it to raise money for like a dog shelter, and it's like her cause, and she's like using her 15 minutes to save dogs. And I'm like, everybody just relax. Like, we don't have to moralize about the Hawk to a Girl anymore than has already been moralized, you know? Like, Chris is in a meaningful, committed relationship with her. It's great. Like, there's no problem with everything that she's doing.
In December, I had gotten a divorce. And it was like, I was like, her Hawk to Orion was my new wife. And we just had a dog shelter.
Yeah. Mom, Dad, this is my wife, Hawk Tua. By the way, when this episode comes out,
I just like
that whole thing.
whatever happened with her, like whatever's come out since then, whatever she said,
Whatever happened to the Mets?
whatever
She's either
anyone
going to
else
be
said.
in Kamala's cabinet,
Yeah.
or she's going to be like, at Sing Sing. She's gonna, like been imprisoned for all of her crimes. She seems like a nice person. I have nothing negative to say about her. I wish you guys a lot of happiness together. So Venom, Let There Be Carnage, very normal pick there.
Hey, Hawk 2, have you seen Bear on the Lawn? Next to Kim.
You should be asking her, have you seen Licorice Pizza?
That's true. What, is the age difference? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
Jeez.
You can negotiate the gap. Right? No?
What do you think Amanda's going to protest the relationship?
Right outside of his
happily married,
house.
by the
I would
way.
take
Yeah.
Phoebe's side on
Yeah,
that one.
thanks.
Yeah,
Did you
I
just say
guess
happily
Hawk
married?
I'm happily married.
It's good. You clear that up. I'm sure the listeners appreciate it. In Wildcard, I'm taking Velvet Underground.
What?
What?
Do you think the Hawk is an avid big pictures?
Probably a big fan. Just Bob. Yeah. You think she's ever heard one of your pods?
I'm just laughing. Can you imagine if she was like, God, I love this pod. It's a way for me to get away from it all.
When I'm doing dishes, or on a long walk. When I've got a road trip, there's nothing I like more
I'm a
than
real
firing up
person,
the watch.
and I have a real letterbox. Not just Hawk to a girl, I love the French Dispatch.
More of a sports card nonsense listener, I would imagine.
Oh, God.
In Wildcard, I'm taking Velvet Underground. Todd Haynes' documentary.
Right in my eyes, because I got that.
Take that.
Didn't I take that at an auction one year and then also named it my best film of 2021?
Have you both cried this much in like decades?
Yeah, because I watched Father of the Bride while pregnant recently,
Okay.
but this is number 2.
What happens at the end of that movie?
Oh my God! And she calls in the airport, like you wouldn't cry. Now, if you watch the scene, she's like, "Hey, Dad, just want to tell you that I love you." Oh, and he's in the perfect house, and yeah.
I only cried this year at the movie Imaginary about the little girl named Alice with her imaginary doll. Remember that?
Chauncey, you're not my friend.
It's really important that we have this document
Wait,
of
is
you
Imaginary
finally
the horror
losing the
movie?
thread. Yeah. Which Amanda has committed to memory. She's quoting it openly.
Yeah, we told you about
6
it 'cause
months.
it's a
You did.
bear, but
Yeah.
he's imaginary.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. So Sean, you drafted
Velvet
Venom
Underground.
and Velvet Underground.
The very-
Where did you? And
Do you want to
Wildcard?
speak on it?
It's a brilliant reinvention of the music documentary form. Todd Haynes takes it apart and puts it back together, gets some people to participate who are members of the band and a lot of people who are in the surrounding worlds. Obviously, that's the band that everyone says launched 1,000 bands. Amy Taubin talking about
Being
her cool life in the 60s and being, I'm not afraid to say it, frankly, incredibly hot. And that was jarring to learn. But it's just a very dynamic movie where you can see like a lot of the handmade gestures that Haynes is deploying to put you back into that time
It's
period.
incredible. It's
super
like
cool.
the dueling frames of like the Kale side and the Reed side.
Yeah, it's like you get an image of
I'm just
Chauncey.
imagining all the little signs I'm going to put on your lawn when you marry Hawk to a girl
Yeah.
in protest. Like a ton of little. All the Phoebe
like-
size signs.
Nevertheless, Phoebe persisted. And honestly, that's contagious.
Okay. It's my pick. And I was going to like.
I was in the middle of dapping him up.
I was
John
like-
Kale and Lou Reed in the two ways of approaching
Yeah.
art.
Do you think Hawk Tuah saw the Velvet Underground doc? You think she thought it was like a meaningful representation of their story?
Okay.
I mean, I don't even know. I was gonna like do a whole big emotional speech about "Come On," which is my wild card, which is a wonderful, wonderful Mike Mills movie, starring Joaquin Phoenix, who plays the uncle of a young kid and whose parents are going through it, and so Joaquin and the young kid, form a bond. And I think I saw this movie like maybe a month after I found out that we were having Knox, and it just like absolutely bowled me over and bowled Zach over as well. Like we saw it together. But it's beautiful. I kind of also went under the radar.
It really did. I think, it's a movie that played in theaters, and it's actually before A24 had a distribution deal with HBO. They were still a Showtime.
Right.
And I wonder if this movie went to HBO, if it would have had a chance to have more of a life. Because I do feel like it's a little bit forgotten, a little bit cast aside.
Anyway, I love it. And that's it. That's all the earnest things I have to say.
Okay. Chris, you've got your final pick?
I'm taking Card Counter. We saw this together. That was pretty sick.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
This was a good movie year.
This is a really good. This movie is awesome. Oscar Isaac as a.
Did you relate more to Oscar Isaac's character or Ty Sheridan's character in this
more
movie?
Tiffany Haddish's character.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Tiffany Haddish was in a Paul Schrader movie. That's pretty.
Wouldn't say she was the best part of the movie.
No. But yeah, I had a bunch of others, but this is probably my next favorite one.
Do you think it was an accurate representation of Abu Ghraib?
No, but I was going to ask you whether or not it changed your relationship to poker.
No. I think there's something chillingly accurate about.
Did he play poker or blackjack in this?
I think he does a bit of gambling. It's mostly poker.
Okay.
And it was poker that got him interested in writing the story. But the locked down, nobody talk to me. I don't know how to relate to anybody.
All those sheets on his furniture, and then he tortures people, and then he plays poker.
That's what I do every time I come in to record with Amanda. Just cover all the furniture as best as possible, just to avoid the tear stains.
What's up now?
You can still see the tear streaks.
I didn't know you're such an emotional guy.
he's so
I'm not.
mad.
That's why I'm laughing about Hawk Tuah Girl.
I'm
I don't
honestly
channel
like,
this.
I'm on my third pod of the day,
Me too.
Yeah.
So I'm on my second. Well, how do you think we got here?
That's a good point. Yeah. Should we always record these late in the
I
day
guess
after
maybe.
multiple pods? Shall we recap?
Yeah.
Chris, you want to go first?
Sure. In drama, I took No Sudden Move. In comedy, I took House of Gucci. In Oscar nominee, I took Nightmare Alley. In horror, action, thriller, I took Paranormal Activity, Next of Kin.
Remarkable pick.
Blockbuster, I took Dune. Wildcard, I took Card Counter.
Amanda, you want to recap?
Sure. In drama, I took The Souvenir Part 2. In comedy, I took Shiva Baby. In Oscar nominee, I took The Lost Daughter. In action horror thriller, after much debate, I took No Time to Die. In blockbuster, I took a Spider-Man movie, No Way Home. And in wildcard, I took Come On, Come On.
Okay. In drama, I took The Worst Person in the World. In comedy, I took Licorice Pizza. In Oscar nominee, I took West Side Story. In action horror thriller, I took Malignant. In blockbuster, I took Venom, Let There Be Carnage, normal pick. In wildcard, I took Velvet Underground, the documentary. Do you feel...
Me and Hawk Tuah Girl's Christmas card. It was just like, see you at the movies.
But you're both holding Smirnoff Ices in your hand. Cheers to you on another wonderful year.
Much change in the Ryan household. No, I'm kidding. And I also don't want to be disrespectful. She's doing great things.
Yeah, bright, independent lady,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think she's a role model?
Like I said, we have no knowledge of anything that has happened from this date until December, whatever.
Yeah.
I think she's literally like in the Department of Transportation in the White House right now.
This will be the all-time episode topper you have to do. Just like, I would
Hey,
like
guys.
to make
You didn't want to delete the last 29 minutes of the pod with some references to recently deported world-class criminal Hawk Tuah, who has been sent back to Bogota after many years of infiltrating the U.S. government via viral sensation. That was pretty good. I think I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Weird pod. I don't know what else to say.
This is the
I
last
hope
one of
you
the
and
year?
your family are doing well
Thanks so
at this
much.
moment in
I
time.
don't know why you
I'll
needed
probably be
to
able
say
to text you.
so threateningly. My Christmas party is this weekend.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. Will you be doing it?
I'm going to try.
You're just a maniac.
Well, so here's the thing.
I literally was thinking about this weekend.
I know, but people are thinking about it. And
I know.
I had another friend who, like, 2 months ago was like, which weekend do you think it's going to be? Because I, like, want to plan travel around it. And I was really moved by that.
This is why I was thinking about it. I was like, will I be home for the Baron Dobbins Christmas party?
I mean, I hope so. If it's this week, I mean.
Well, okay.
Oh, because you guys are going to go early?
I lead a very interesting life, and I'll tell you more about it off
Yeah.
mic. But one, throwing a party with a child under 3 months, God bless. 2, putting this on the pod.
Yeah.
You know, this show has roughly 180 million listeners. There's like a lot of people, roughly, who might want to come, who might think that they should have been invited to previous parties.
Yeah.
Like, you have now just revealed that you
We've
throw a
talked about
party.
the party before. It's this. It's,
do you
know,
think you would invite both Phoebe and Hawk to a girl? Or is that going to be weird?
I'm on the record.
I know,
Phoebe,
Team Phoebe.
yeah, and Phoebe brings the cookies.
That's true.
So we can't have the party without the cookies. I don't know what Hawk 2 is bringing. Yeah,
I can think of one thing.
we can think of one thing.
Okay. Well, Amanda, thanks. Thanks for your efforts here on the pod. Chris,
No problem.
very good job by you as well.
Is this the last pod of the year?
It's the last pod ever, coincidentally.
Jesus.
I'd like to thank Aleya Zenieris and Jack Sanders for sitting there and enduring this.
I can't tell. I couldn't really see Alea's face or Jack's face because
Right.
of the equipment, but there was a lot of something happening over there. They were either happy or sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've alerted Phoebe of all the contents of this conversation. I'd like to thank Bobby Wagner, our producer, for his work on this episode. We'll see you. Let's see what I've.
I have it up. I have it up. So the next one, don't worry, it's a Lord of the Rings movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you're not
the
on
animated
it.
one?
The War of
The Rohirrim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who are they?
Horse guys. They're the horse lords.
Okay.
Yeah, they appear in the
The problem
original
with
trilogy.
this is that even though it's animated, Sean and I, every Christmas, there's a Hobbit movie out. We go see it.
So what will you
and
do
then
now?
we ice each
I
other.
don't know. Am I on it?
No, you're not. The next one that
You
you're
wanna be
on
on it?
is honestly start the countdown. It's Nosferatu.
Oh, yeah. Not my Dracula.
Will you be
I see that
protesting
both- I
Nosferatu?
see
No,
that both-
that's my Dracula.
That is your Dracula.
That Chris and
he's
I
not Dracula.
Have both been
He's the inspiration for it, though.
Okay.
have been written off the Complete Unknown podcast for daring to open our hearts.
Who has been written off of it?
Both Chris and I.
Would you want to be on it?
A Complete Unknown?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm the only living person
not
who
on
likes
it.
walk the line.
The person who shouldn't be on it is me.
Yeah, well, we know. Let's see how it goes.
More and more people are asking me about A Complete Unknown.
Okay.
They're coming up to me and they're saying, "Thank you for your good works. What do you think of this Bob Dylan movie?" And increasingly, can I tell you something? I've actually been getting Alice to listen to Bob Dylan for real.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, we listen to dad music now.
That's
So like we used
Oh.
to dance to princess songs. And now she's like, would you please play Sad-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands? And then she tries to dance to it, but she can't really dance to that. But
Yeah.
I think that's like the first thing I've been like, I'm going to incept this. And it worked. We'll see how long it lasts. But
That's beautiful.
so maybe she should be on the podcast.
Yeah,
That would be
I
actually
would
really
love.
funny.
I
Good
honestly
episode?
think that Alice would give a great review.
Okay. Well, Chris, you're welcome to any episode here if
Thanks.
you want. But I know you have a heavy load, a heavy burden that you carry because you're also alimony for your ex-wife, and then Haktua's lifestyle, and she's come to appreciate nice things. So it's a lot to ask.
Your joint sponsorships
She's not,
that
you know,
you've
the thing
landed
is she's
together.
anti-fast fashion. You know,
Okay.
she's just like,
It's just Gucci and Prada for her.
no, it's like really quality vintage, you know, and
Uh-huh.
purchases.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What does that mean? Like you take her to secondhand stores? She's a
I
secondhand.
take her to Beacon's Closet and like anything you want under $200.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for checking out this episode.
Ugh.